I decided to combine two of my favorite things, motherhood and science. Welcome to Momology. Hi, my name is Jennifer and I'm 31 years old. I have a bachelor's and a master's degree in science with the main focus of pharmacology, and I have a PhD in medical science where the main focus was neuroscience. In addition, I'm also a mother to two beautiful boys who are now about 1 and 3.5. Since I know that most of us moms don't have a whole lot of time, I thought that I'd break down the science of motherhood with a different topic each week and update you on the latest science related to parenthood. So welcome to Momology. This week we'll be tackling picky eating. So most of us probably know a picky eater, or a fussy eater, as it's also called. If you think about it historically, it's maybe not at all as strange as you think. So up to 1 year, small children are often with their mothers only, all the time, or another adult, and we're making sure what they eat. But at around 2-3, when kids are more mobile and they may wander off for short periods of time, away from the cave in the Stone Age, then it was possible for them to come across strange plants or mushrooms or other food items out in nature. If they stuck to what their parents have showed them before, so familiar food items, then they were probably usually safe. If they all of a sudden decided to try a new food item, this could be potentially toxic to them. So in the past, it has been advantageous to be a bit picky. So what is picky eating? Well, it's a common behavior in early childhood. The definition is discussed, but it's often referred to as the rejection or restriction of familiar or unfamiliar food items. And it also includes neophobia. So neo means new and phobia means fear. So you have a fear of trying new things. In different studies looking at the prevalence of picky eating, they've seen everything from about 6 up to 50%. Picky eating usually starts somewhere between a child's 2nd and 3rd birthday, and the peak age is about 3 years old. Why do you become a picky eater? It's thought to depend on a complex mix of parental and child-related characteristics. There are, of course, things that can increase the risk of having a picky eater. So some of those factors are greater maternal age, smoking, higher maternal social class, lower pre-pregnancy BMI, higher maternal educational level, lower parity, so a lower amount of children, lighter birth weight, and in some studies they've seen that males are more often picky eaters. Siblings act as a protective factor, so if a child sees their siblings eat and try new things, then they're often more keen on doing the same. It has also been shown to have a certain level of heritability. In fact, twin studies have shown that it's highly heritable. Twin studies follow twins that have been separated. So basically, you're looking at individuals that are very, very similar genetically, but in different environments. So if they looked at different pairs of twins, you saw that both were either picky or non-picky eaters. The way you perceive bitter tastes is also genetic. So that can play a big role in the acceptance of vegetables, especially in early childhood. Some studies have shown that you can identify a picky eater as soon as 2 to 4 weeks after birth, and they could do this by looking at different sucking patterns in the infants. Where non-picky eaters had fewer sucks per session, there's no strong evidence that formula, breastfeeding, or a mix of both would increase or decrease the risk of picky eating. If you're worried about your picky eater, it's at least shown in most studies that while the intake of certain things may be reduced, for example, often vegetables, the overall calorie intake is usually around the same. Looking at various deficiencies that may arise from picky eating, researchers have seen that zinc and iron are a common deficiency. and this is usually thought to depend on a lower intake of meat. While fiber intake is usually low in children, it can be even lower in picky eating due to their lower intake of vegetables. And this can also lead to constipation. So what can you do if you have a picky eater? Remember, it's very common and often a normal part of development. So unless it's problematic for their health, development, their education or psychological well-being, it's often nothing to worry about. But if you are worried, I would recommend talking to your pediatrician. What helps according to research? So the first thing is exposure. It can take up to 10 to 15 times before a child accepts a food. So you give them some new vegetables for dinner, don't expect them to eat it directly. If they don't, give it to them at the next meal. Maybe they'll try it then. If not, try it again next time. And keep going. Remember, 10 to 15 times. A common mistake is often that parents think that their children should be eating more than they are. You have to remember to have realistic expectations for a portion size for a child. Do not use food rewards. By telling a child that they'll get ice cream if they finish their vegetables, you're devaluating the food that they're eating. You're telling them that this food isn't good as ice cream. Instead, make sure to use non-food rewards. For example, stickers. Stickers are great motivation. Remember to have a positive approach. It's been shown that if you try to force a child, you increase the risk of picky eating and can even make picky eating worse. So try to stay positive even though it's frustrating. Also, remember that you're a role model. Your children are watching you at all times. If they see you eating fruits and vegetables and trying new foods, then they're more likely to do so. If you notice that your child is eating less at mealtimes, you can also try to limit their snacks. So if they're getting milk between meals, or maybe they're eating too much, just too much in between, maybe some crackers, try to lower it and see if they're maybe more hungry and willing to try to eat a bit more of their actual meals. Remember that most kids grow out of this, and it's very common. So that's it for this time, guys. So let me know what you thought, and also let me know if you have suggestions for a topic for next time. See you guys next time.